Exactly easy to take a bunch of pictures of your own head, so you would just have somebody go around your head and take maybe about 15 photos. Be sure to get under the neck good. That seems to be a hard place to get. So, alright, I am back inside and I had to take more pictures. I hope these work, but Meshroom doesn't like depth of field. It likes to know where the geometry of things are. This is such a small model that it's a little more difficult. Normally when I do little small things like this, I have a pedestal that I rotate it on, where I trick the camera to not to think that I'm actually going around in a circle. But in fact I'm sitting still. But a normal person, you shouldn't have a problem. You just don't want to get too close that the camera starts blurring the background, like in a portrait mode, for example. But these are the different shots I took, and in Meshroom, all you do is load it. And import in them pictures by just selecting them all, dragging them in there. And before you start, come over to the bottom, just use your mouse wheel to roll up. Add one node in here with the blue highlighted, right click in between mesh filtering and texturing. Right click, say remove, right click, mesh post processing, mesh decimate. And then with the left mouse button, draw a line from mesh to mesh import, mesh decimate, mesh output, output mesh to mesh. So this is what you got. I turned in texture, I take the texture type and I change it to a JPEG. I leave the texture resolution the same. I don't mess with that. So basically you just hit start and save the file. So whatever you want to save it as, and hit start. It'll do everything for you. This is on a 10/850K, so it maybe take 10 minutes. I think it, 15 minutes, depending on how many pictures. Like this is 19 pictures, and I mean, it didn't take my old i7 long to do it. Maybe 10 minutes, 15, depending. Maybe it's a little quicker now. But while it's doing this in the background, I'm going to show you how to get the hair into the game. Make Human. It's free, just like Meshroom's free. When it loads up, you'll have this ugly thing to look at. Let's go to geometries up here, hair, and pick you a hairstyle that you want to put on the model. There's several different ones in here to choose from. I think like this one I got from the community tab. There's a few in there. Most of them aren't really that great, but you just find you something that you want to put on your model, and then you're going to go to export right here. You're going to select FBX format, because FBX will separate everything into easily pieces to, you can delete everything but the hair. You can save it on your desktop. and check back on this rendering. And it's still doing the feature extraction. So, all right, we got that working. I thought I hit start. Or maybe it was going, I just interrupted it. Alright, in Blender, let's load our dummy. While that's working on the head, we can go ahead and get the hair in here. So we'll import in Crashhard first, which he's going to be in the user folder in mods unpacked. Assuming you unpacked him, you need to unpack him. Crashhard. I'll just show you where he's at on here, make it a little easier to see. Mods unpacked, Crashhard dummy, vehicles common, Crashhard dummy. That's his location. Now I don't know why that's in there, but anyways, let's get him in here. That was from the first video I made. So this is where you got him here. Alright, now we're going to import in that hair from Make Human. So we saved that on a desktop. Up here you can see the viewport shading if you want to see it that way. Alright, we're going to delete this. Delete them eyeballs. We don't need them. We just need the hair. I guess while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and say object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor, object, set origin, geometry to origin. Now I'm going to move it up. I'm going to hit S to scale it. And basically, until we get our head in here, just kind of get a rough position where we want it to be. Now to fix, if your camera's doing this, just come up here to view and just pick something that you're going to be working on, and it'll set that for you. Let's check back on our model, see where it's at. Alright, actually it's done. Try to give you a better view in here, but it's looking like. The thing's always going to be upside down. It's always going to be the wrong direction. It's always going to be. Now, it didn't like some of my pictures, but don't let that discourage you. Some of your pictures will probably be fine. It's such a little bitty model. It's just hard to crouch down. I don't have anything out there I can set him on, so it only used some of the images. But just assume all yours worked fine and you got you a complete model where the back's not messed up, which is only when you try to make a video things go wrong. That's just gonna happen. So over here, you'll see where it put it. Now I just copy, and then I go to a folder and I just hit Control V to get to where it saved it. And this is where it put it. So I'm going to go ahead and rename the texture to something that I can remember in the editor. And then I'm going to put these in a folder that I can quickly get to without navigating through all that. Alright, now in the Blender, File, Import, this will be an OBJ. So, damn, where'd I just put that? Oh, new folder 14. And then just damn, not export, import. Alright, now it's not going to have a texture because I renamed it, but let's go ahead and fix that. With this selected, click on this material properties, base texture, and pick the right texture. I just rename it because I had other things in the game using that same name, so I get confused when I'm working on stuff, which is what sometimes. So we gotta get that head over there, but before we even fool with that, I'm gonna clean it up. I'm just hitting R to rotate, and then X and Y for the different directions. Then G to move it. Now in edit mode, I'm going to make sure I got my toggle X-ray selected, and I'm going to just start eliminating all this stuff. I don't need any of that. I'm just, ideally you want enough neck that you can get into the top part of the model. So delete vertices. I got a little bit of crap back there. I can delete that. Go back into object mode, and the next thing's pretty simple. You want to scale this head to correct proportion. So we'll move him. You can use G to move, or you can use one of these tabs to move, then rotate, or hit R to rotate, whatever you like to use better. Now the axis is still screwed up, so let's go ahead and assign the origin to 3D cursor, and then object set origin to geometry. Now rotate it around, and then I'm going to move it up and scale it until I get it just about the right size. of course your model's head will have a back to it. Now keep in mind the beams that make this don't give much room over the size of the original dummy head. If it ends up going past that, it'll act crazy. But just keep it around the same size, you shouldn't have a problem. Now it's possible the hair you import in won't um, fit exactly. With the hair selected, you can come up to sculpt mode and you can select elastic deform, and you can push and pull the model of the hair until it properly seats onto your model. So keep that in mind. You can do that once you get it where you want it. And you go back to object mode. Now to connect these two, join these two objects without messing up the textures, what you have to do is, in this, with like the head selected, select the object data properties and go to UV maps for this object. Now you see these two, the hair and the head, have different names. So what you're going to do is just double click, or if you can remember what to type, just copy and then select the hair, double click and just paste, rename them so they're both the same, the UV maps match. Then when you join them, you just select one and select the other object, join, and it won't mess up your textures. Now the next thing is rename the CHD underscore head. Just put a number 1 after it. That'll let you rename your new model to its old name, which is textured mesh, is what Meshroom calls everything. Be sure you get your capital letters right. Now you're going to have two texture maps. You're going to have short 02 if you pick that hair that I picked, and you'll have texture atlas 1. Now I'll just rename this to the same thing the file's name, just to make it easy to remember. Hair for dummy, and capitals matter, so if you use a capital, just remember that you used it. And I'll just call this, wait a minute, not hair for dummy, that's dummy face. That's the head. The hair was short because it was a short hairstyle. Just call this dummy hair. I'll probably have to look back, so I'll forget what I called them. But now he's ready to export. Wait a minute. Here's this other head. Delete it. Damn, I didn't mean to do that. Just want to delete the head. Head 1, delete. Okay. Now we don't need this light. We don't need that light. We don't need the camera. So let's get him over to the game. Put him in the same folder you got him from and overwrite him. Yeah, let me make sure it copies that texture. Your texture's over, so you got them in there. Alright, then in the game. Now normally, like, you would put your textures in your level folder, but since this is a mod and you want to be able to use it from different levels, and you would put him in the mod, unpacked, Crashhard, vehicles, common, Crashhard dummy. That's where he goes. You can see our new hairs in there also. And this is our texture for our model that Meshroom makes. So the game loaded. This was from the first video, and you can see it already updated our model without our head. Our head's sitting over here. Let me just make sure, remove him, put him back. I believe I skipped one step. Yeah, I skipped a step. You got to where's it at? Apply all transforms. Now export them again. There we go, presto. Yeah, sorry about that, I forgot that. Alright, now to fix this, but you already knew that was going to happen. So, remember what you named those two materials, which I done forgot. Damn, I have too much crap open. Alright, it was dummy face and dummy hair. So, new material, dummy face, create, and this is where you have to navigate to where I said the mods were. Unpacked, Crashhard dummy, vehicles, common, Crashhard dummy, and this was the face, so it would be I named the wrong thing to the wrong thing, but you get the idea. You pick the texture for the head here. Alright, you can make it double-sided, so if the head comes off you won't see like part of it being invisible, and you can also tell it in lighting to be anastrophic filtered, and you can tell it to receive shadows. Wow, that's what I do. Save the material and then make the next one, dummy hair. Create it, select it, and this was not hair for dummy, it was short. Yeah, that was it. I'll have to come back and do something with his hair, but just for now, save it. To fix this, I'm going to save this. To fix it, close the game, reload the game, and it'll be fixed. Change this to a convertible. This is where you cross your fingers, and presto, you got you one beautiful model, which will work just like Crashhard. There's one other thing with the hair. I'm pretty sure this hair you can tell it to in advance to be lens alpha, and it'll give it a nice feathery. It'll look better than that because it is a PNG file with transparency. So let me get into a different camera. See, that's using the PNG file's transparency layer. If you don't have lens alpha on, it'll just be that. Oh, double-sided, but then it can make some crazy looking stuff, but it will get rid of that. You can also just say alpha clip, double-sided, and do it that way if you want, but it won't look quite as good. But that's just a preference, really. And just like the other dummy, you can rip his head off if you want. Well, that head's on there. There we go. This is what I was talking about, it being double-sided. If it's not double-sided, and his head goes off into the void, you'll get like where, you know, you kind of start seeing through parts of it. But if you got it double-sided, that takes care of that. And that's pretty much it, really. Let me know if there's anything that I missed, and I can address it.